At this point, I genuinely do this to myself because I picked up Caraval and I was like, wow, a magical island, adventure, and mystery. That sounds so fun, sign me up. And then I read the book and it's just like a distant memory of all those things. Caraval follows Scarlet, who lives on an island with her sister Donatella, and the most vile scum of the earth, demonic entity who is their father. This guy is something else. He's just so insane. Somebody needs to abracadabra him into a bug and step on him. Scarlet has been writing letters to Legend, who is the organizer of Caraval, for years, and he finally replies back, inviting her, Donatella, and Scarlet's fiancé, the Count, to this year's game. Who is her fiancé, I hear you ask? We don't know. And neither does Scarlet because she's never actually met him. They've just written letters to each other and are getting married soon. So Scarlet goes to tell Donatella and she finds her with some sailor called Julian. And then they both start arguing because they're like, should we go to Caraval or not? And their father walks in and he's mad because he's like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he in my house? Donatella's like, this guy? Oh, this guy came here with Scarlet. And Scarlet's like, no, he came here with you. And they just go back and forth and the dad's like, okay, who did you come here with? And Julian, because he thinks he's protecting Donatella, is like, I came here with Scarlet. But what he doesn't realize is that their dad's way of punishing the girls is by abusing the other one, so Donatella is the one who gets in trouble and gets punched. At this point, it's over, it's done, they're not going to go to Caraval. Scarlet offers Julian all the tickets, and then she wakes up on a boat in the middle of the ocean with Julian on the way to Caraval. Yeah, it turns out Donatella drugged her and made Julian take them to the island. And it's funny because in the synopsis of the book, it's like, she was whisked away to Caraval. No, she was drugged and kidnapped. You guys, at this point, Julian starts calling her Crimson, which is so funny and hilarious because her name is Scarlet and he's calling her Crimson because he knows his colors. So original, but also I think we all know that means that these two are going to end up together, which is kind of weird because he was with her sister first, but whatever. They make it to the island, Donatella is nowhere to be found, and Julian pretends to be Scarlet's fiancé so he can get into the game. Scarlet meets this dude named Dante who flirts with her for about 2 seconds, and then he finds out that Julian is her fiancé and he's super salty and annoying for the rest of the book, so there's that. After signing a contract in blood, they go to an inn where Scarlet finds Donatella's room, but no Donatella, and she's freaking the freak out, and then a bunch of people walk in and start taking Donatella's stuff because it turns out in order to win the game this year, you have to find Donatella, and whoever wins gets a wish. You know how Scarlet's whole personality is missing her sister and wanting to protect her sister? Well, she meets a fortune teller who can tell her about the future, which is perfect, right? Because she can ask about her sister who she misses so much and won't shut up about. But no, she asks about her fiance, and then she's like, oh, I should have asked about my sister. At one point, Scarlet buys 2 dresses and she can either pay for them with her greatest fear and her greatest desire, or she can give up 2 days of her life. So she picks the first option, and when they ask her greatest desire and she's like, finding my sister, they're like, yeah, no, that's a lie. So yeah, she dies for 2 days, but luckily Julian's there and he takes one of her days because apparently you can Venmo each other your days of your lives. Awesome. And then Scarlet kicks the bucket for a day and she sees visions of Donatella, their grandma, and she sees Legend for the first time ever because no one knows what he looks like, and it turns out to be Julian. Yeah, Scarlet's vision was wrong. Julian's just Julian, unfortunately. Scarlet's stupid dad shows up with her fiancé, so she runs into some tunnel to hide from him and finds Julian standing over Dante's lifeless body, and she's freaking out, but Julian's like, I didn't do this. And then he tells her about how Legend vowed to get revenge on Scarlet's family since their grandmother broke his heart or something. So he only invited Scarlet here because he wants to ruin her engagement. Oh, by the way, we meet Scarlet's fiancé and he's so creepy, dude. So insanely creepy that it transcends fantasy. Scarlet's dad and her fiancé catch her and Julian, and then it gets really weird because Scarlet's dad lets her freako creepo fiancé take her, but thankfully she escapes and we finally meet Legend, and he kills Julian.
Oh my god.
Rest in peace, Julian. Rest in peace, because who's gonna tell us our colors now? Because I don't know what crimson is. Only he knows. Scarlet finally finds Donatella and she's like, okay, we have to go right now. There's a boat waiting for us. Let's go. Donatella does not believe her at all. She's like, okay. Anyways, here's my fiancé. His name is Daniel. And guess who walks through the door? Legend. And Scarlet's freaking out again and she's like, oh my god, that's Legend. It isn't until their dad walks in that Donatella finally believes Scarlet and she's like, oh my god, and then she just jumps off the balcony to her death. Rest in peace. So since she found Donatella and basically won the game, Scarlet's the one who should get the wish, right? Yeah, well, Legend doesn't feel like it, so she doesn't get a wish and Caraval ends. But like I said, everything is a lie. So Julian, Dante, and Donatella are all still alive. Legend is not actually Legend, that's just another actor. Also, Legend and Julian are brothers, and they have a party at the end of all of this.